Multiplying by a monomial looks and behaves just like distribution, but it's kind of like distribution on steroids because there's more pieces to it. So in this first example, I'm going to go through and multiply all the numbers on the inside of the parentheses by 4, and I'm going to put 2 more x's everywhere whenever I distribute it through. So let's go ahead and do that and see what it looks like. When I take it to the first piece, I multiply 2 times 4, that gives me 8. There was already 1 x on the inside. I'm adding 2 more in, so that gives me x to the third. And then I'm done with the first piece. Let's distribute to the second piece. I have a 4 times a negative 1, which is negative 4. And there are no x's, and I'm adding 2 more in, so I get x squared. So my final answer when I distribute the monomial is 8x to the third minus 4x squared, which is a cubic binomial. I can take this same process and I can apply it to much more complicated looking problems like this one. But if I break it down, it's not bad. All I'm doing is I'm putting a negative 3 in with all the other numbers by multiplication. I'm adding 2 more x's everywhere, 3 more y's everywhere, and 4 more z's everywhere. So let's go ahead and do that to each of these pieces. Once I've done it 3 times, I'll have my final answer. So if I send it to the first piece, multiply 3 times negative 3, that gives me negative 9. There was already 1 x there, and I'm adding 2 more in, so that's x to the third. There were 2 y's, I'm adding 3 in, so that's y to the fifth. And there was 1 z, and I'm adding 4 more in, so that's z to the fifth. And in this case, I kind of imagine that I'm done with that piece. So now let's take him to the second part, right there. Negative 3 times 9 gives me negative 27. There were 2 x's, I add 2 more, so that's x to the fourth. There was 1 y, and I add 3 more, that's y to the fourth. And there were no z's, and I put 4 there, so there's 4 z's. And I'm done with that piece. And last but not least, let's take him to the final part of my trinomial. Negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24. There were no x's, so I'm going to put 2 there. There were no y's, I'm going to put 3 there. And there were 3 z's, and I'm going to put 4 more, so that's z to the seventh. So in the end, I have this long trinomial as my answer, because I distributed the monomial to the given trinomial in the problem.